All right, we're back. So what we were saying here is that we know that if we went to 125, which would be a 25% increase to grant us this, and that's really too expensive. But we would get 100,000, and that would make this deal. If we got 100,000 on our loan to pay off, to buy it, but buy it with a tenant in it, then basically it would be a no money down deal for you. You would avoid the 12,000. You would avoid the normal $20,000 that you would have to put down. You would give away 5, but you would do that. Now, another way that we might be able to do it, and let me just start this real quick if I can, is that we only do 5. Say for these rights here, where we basically are buying a grace period and then immediately avoiding going to the acquisition loan, which is generally 5 to 10% down, and then the full price to do this. So we know that if that costs us 10%, that would be $10,000 here. So if we basically have acquired this, but in reality, when we come back in and we would go to get this DSCR loan, which normally is a 20% down type loan, okay, we know that this value has to go up by 20 to 25%, so that when they give us, a DSCR loan is generally 20% down, 20% down, and 80%. Well, that's not right, bug. 80% of purchase price. So we would increase this here so that it actually, what would we have to do? For this to pay out. If we already own it, which we already own it here, this is avoided. And so now we can get a loan that's 80% of the purchase price. This is the value that basically we want at the end of the day to be 100,000. So we have to increase this price because of this financing here, because of the tenant that we have paying. We need to increase this value by about 25%. So how are we going to do that? Well, one is that we can overpay it a little bit more, but this would give us 125, and then 80% of that is 100. So now the value that we're borrowing as part of the DSCR loan 100% covers the purchase price here. And we have added value here from either the rehab and the tenant. Okay, that's kind of what I'm trying to do. We can flesh this out a little bit farther, but again, coming up with what the offer would be. So we may want to see if we could do something like this, where we basically add $5,000. So one, maybe we add $5,000. $5,000 to offer, which pays for all of this and in our grace period, and then we increase the value by another $20,000. And how would we do this? Increase to ARV, the appraised value actually. And so this starts to look more commercial. We're asking these people here to help us with almost like a low commercial loan. So, and then that ARV is going to basically be, we're going to do that by rehab plus appliances, maybe. And then the other one would basically be the tenants. Through Section 8. Okay, well, let's cut it off for here, and then let me know what you think about this. I don't know if we've ever really tried to do it, but if we could get them, you know, when we make our offers and everything, to consider this, you know, then we would basically be able to increase the price by that. So our offer price to the seller would not be 100. It would be 105. Offer to seller is equal to 105K. And for that, we get our grant period and time basically to get to work with the county to get a qualified tenant in, and then go and apply for our debt service coverage ratio loan. And we basically have a no money down deal for ourselves. And if somebody just starting in the business doesn't have any money, this really would do that. I suggest, you know, this is just a way to try to solve a problem as far as acquiring the assets. And then after a while, you can always go ahead and do another DSCR loan, say 5 years from now, and then actually pull out equity. And once you have that equity, then you can actually go, you know, with conventional financing or another DSCR loan, but on another property. So, okay, I'll talk to you later.